Hello, good evening, and thanks for joining us. More power is expected from Okpai Independent Power Project, resulting from expansion. NNPC partnership and commitments to action will make this possible. We are tracking the discussion of how this came about, including the coming of the oil palm biodiesel project in Cross River State. Two very awesome supports also on the lineup this week: the National Assembly support for KRPC turnaround maintenance and the support for initiative to promote LPG use as domestic cooking fuel. It's actually a busy week as always for NNPC and the industry, but we'll leave the rest for the details. I'm Akin Agbejule. This is Oil and Gas Forum.
He has done very, very well, and I travel a lot, and there's no part of this country I don't go because of this my job, and there's no way we cannot find fuel, and he has done very, very well. I wish he will remain there forever.
Let's share the highlights with you. Improved operating environment and intensified collaborative efforts are very vital currencies for projects. NNPC and NAOC have provided this in abundance for the Okpai Independent Power Project expansion. RMAFC calls for strengthening of NNPC. National Assembly affirms support for KRPC turnaround maintenance. Oil palm biodiesel project coming to some Cross River State neighborhood. Let's share in their joy before we eventually share in their products. Cleaner energy use advocated as fuel for domestic cooking, talking about LPG. Barrow urges development of healthy workforce through sports. We will return with all the details. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) and the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company (NAOC) have resolved to expedite action on the expansion of the Okpai Independent Power Project as part of efforts to shore up electricity power generation in the country. This resolution was reached when the Chief Operating Officer Upstream ENI, Mr. Antonio Villa, led the management team of NAOC on a courtesy visit to the Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Dr. Mekanti Barrow, in Abuja.
One of the most important steps that the Managing Director of NNPC made, the security in our site of the activity. That was the most important point to give confidence on investors like we are in country, that we should come back strongly and rise production of oil and gas. And this is what we are doing.
According to him, the Okpai IPP expansion will be completed by the second quarter of 2019 and would raise the power generating capacity of the plant by over 50%. On his part, the NNPC GMD Dr. Mekanti Barrow said his management was focused on making the operating environment safe and conducive for more investors to come in.
This management is focused on ensuring the right business environment exists, and also to ensure that we do business according to what agreements we've gone into. We promised to exit cash flow, we've done that. We promised to resolve the issues with the PSCs, we're almost done. We've also promised to ensure that the security where operations take place, that is remarkable progress.
The Nigerian Society of Engineers, NSE, and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation are to work together to promote the rapid growth of local content in the country. The two organizations came to this resolution when the national president of the NSE, Engineer Adekunle Mokolu, led the leadership of the society on a courtesy call on the Group Managing Director of NNPC, Dr. Mekanti Barrow, in Abuja. Jinamokolu said there was need for NNPC, with its highly competent and experienced engineers and a rich track record of project delivery, to work closely with the NSE and other stakeholders to salvage important national projects like the Ajaokuta Steel Company, which has been in construction for over 30 years. He said NNPC and the entire oil industry stood to benefit greatly from the speedy completion of the Ajaokuta Steel Company, as it would reduce dependence on imported steel for the manufacture of pipes and other hardware required in the industry.
You have a good leader in the person of the Group Managing Director, Engineer Dr. Baru, who I believe, the way he's doing things, he likes challenges. He can lead a team that will be able to have the knack and all the required, issues, and even navigate the political waters to make sure that Ajaokuta is upstream today. Why is that so? That is the backbone, anyway, of oil and gas. Like I said in my speech, without steel development, we are not even talking about housing. So many other things.
The NSE president also commended the GMD for entrenching transparency and accountability through the regular publication of NNPC's monthly financial and operation report, as well as restoring normalcy to the downstream sector through regular and uninterrupted supply of petroleum products. Responding, Dr. Barrow said NNPC saw the development of local content as a national call, adding that the revival of projects like the Ajaokuta Steel Company would go a long way in accelerating and deepening the local content policy. He said his management placed high premium on accountability and transparency, as that was the surest way of averting failure and attracting investment.
The drive to bring in local content by NNPC and by my team we look at it as a national call, and it's something that has to be done. NNPC recognized this as far back as the early 2000s, when we started with the development of the guidelines for the Nigerian content.
The Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC, has called for the strengthening of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, through the allocation of more oil and gas assets to it, in order to show up the revenue stream flows to the Federation account. The acting chairman of the commission, Alhaji Shetima Abagana, gave the commendation when he led the management team of the commission on a courtesy call on the Group Managing Director of NNPC, Dr. Mekanti Baru. He called for the enhancement of NNPC businesses through the allocation of more assets to enable it operate like other national oil companies across the globe, stressing that as an entity that generates about 80% of the nation's revenue, there was need for the federal government to empower the corporation to generate more revenue to take care of the nation's growing population.
NNPC has now, for example, in the last 1 year or so, NNPC publishes its accounts every month in the newspapers. This is what has happened here, there, whatever. This is information out in public domain virtually monthly now. So this is a clear indication that NNPC is now bringing out information that hitherto was not known, and except for very few. Now it's information that is published monthly. Okay, so we've seen the improvement in the transparency and accountability. We have also seen the improvement in disseminating information to Nigerians regularly, but now even monthly.
Alhaji Ghana said the commission, as a revenue monitor and auditor, was satisfied with the steps taken so far by the Dr. Baru-led management to improve accountability and transparency, such as the publication of the corporation's monthly financial and operations report, which he described as a radical departure from the past. Responding, Dr. Barrow explained that NNPC, apart from being a federal government agency that supervises government investment in the oil and gas industry, was also a business enterprise, a petroleum product supplier of last resort.
With landed prices in the region of almost 200 naira per liter, which makes it almost impossible for private sector to bring in and be losing 55 naira or in that region. It has become the responsibility of NNPC as the supplier of last resort on behalf of the Federation, of course, since we don't consume it alone as such, but it's supplied to the nation.
In a presentation during the session, the Group General Manager, Crude Oil Marketing Division, Mr. Mele Kyari, explained the various revenue streams from oil and gas operations into the Federation account, adding that NNPC was prudent in its management of government's investment in the oil and gas sector.
In managing this priority act, we follow all due process, probably one of the most transparent organizations. The reality is that there is no government entity, a business government entity that has processes and systems that can be checked as the NNPC has.
The National Assembly has expressed its readiness to assist the Kaduna Refining and Petrochemical Company Limited (KRPC) to attain full rehabilitation of the plant in order to operate at optimal capacity and profitability. The Chairman, House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee investigating the state of the nation's 4 refineries and turnaround maintenance, Honorable Garba Deti Mohammed, stated this during the visit of members of the committee to KRPC recently. He explained that the visit was part of their oversight function to examine and approve the company's annual budget for rehabilitating the refinery and ensure that its operations were optimized for the benefit of Nigerians.
We are here, we are all Nigerians. We want to fix all our institutions to be functional like any other institution in other climes.
Also speaking, the Managing Director of KRPC, Engineer Adewale Solomon Ladinega, thanked the committee for the visit. He used the occasion to brief the honorable members on KRPC's position in the refining and petrochemical business since its establishment in 1980.
So we are here to receive the honorable members of the House and to let you know exactly what we are doing here concerning the refinery. As true Nigerians, we are trying to make up that this refinery come up.
While delivering the vote of thanks, the KRPC Executive Director Services, Dr. Abdullahi Idris, extended his appreciation to the federal government for its continuous and unwavering support for the company, just as he reaffirmed the corporation's commitment to improve on the fortunes of the company.
But I think it's proper for us to formally thank you for coming and also for the atmosphere in which we carried out this function this morning.
As part of its commitment to expand the renewable energy footprints in the country, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has indicated its intention to establish an oil palm-based biodiesel project in Cross River State. In this regard, the officials of the Renewable Energy Division, RED, of the state oil firm have commenced a community integration and stakeholders engagement to sensitize members of the proposed host communities of Iwure, Ojo and Osombai King on the rationale and projected benefits of the biofuels projects in the state ahead of its kickoff. A release by the corporation's Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, Ndu Uhamad, said the 26,000 hectares facility was designed to accommodate an oil palm plantation co-located with biodiesel, crude palm oil cogeneration plants and other facilities. Under the arrangement, the oil palm would be processed into fuel-grade biodiesel and industrial crude palm oil as byproducts. The biodiesel would be blended with diesel in a mix of 20% biodiesel and 80% diesel and sold as B20 in the domestic market. Any utilized biodiesel quantity would be exported to the international market. The NNPC Cross River State Biofuel Project is in tandem with the drive by the corporation to develop biofuels in Nigeria through partnership with core investors to create a low-carbon economy and link the oil and gas sector to the agricultural sector. This is also to mitigate the adverse effect of climate change and the transformation of NNPC into an integrated energy company with diverse portfolios. So far, Kebbi, Ondo, Taraba, Benue, Jigawa, Kogi, Adamawa have shown interest in partnering with NNPC on biofuels projects. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has expressed willingness to support genuine independent initiatives aimed at promoting the use of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG), popularly known as cooking gas, as alternative fuel for domestic use. This commitment was made by the Group Managing Director of NNPC, Dr. Mekanti Baru, at an event organized by Gas to Health Initiative (GTHI), a non-governmental organization in Abuja, to enlighten the public on the benefits of LPG as an alternative to kerosene, charcoal and firewood as domestic cooking fuel. Represented by NNPC Chief Operating Officer COO Downstream, Engineer Henry Obi, the GMD said the corporation sees it as a duty to promote the use of cleaner energy in furtherance of the federal government's aspiration to maintain a clean and healthy environment for the populace.
One of our key objectives, of course, is to push government policy in any segment. So for the oil and gas segment, and more particularly for LPG, gas is the future. So NNPC has total commitment to Mr. President's goal of protecting our environment, preserving the environment for the future generation, and also improving the overall well-being of our citizenry.
He commended the laudable vision of GTHI and urged it not to relent in its drive and commitment to engender healthy living among people at the grassroots through provision of efficient and cheaper energy. Also speaking at the event, the CEO of GTHI, Engineer Betty Ogona, stated that the vision of the organization is to bridge the gap between government organizations and the private sector that are involved in promoting LPG consumption in Nigeria.
The portion of Nigeria population that is using firewood, who are mainly the eateries, restaurants and the mama puts, will be able to increase the consumption of LPG in Nigeria, save our environment from degradation and improve the lives of our women.
The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), Dr. Mekanti Baru, has restated his commitment to growing a healthy and productive workforce in the corporation through sports. Speaking while teeing off the 2018 NNPC Upstream Golf Tournament in Benin City, Edo State, the GMD called on staff to seize every opportunity to engage in sporting activities to relieve the drudgery of work and keep fit. He said the corporation would always support the annual event in keeping with his management's vision of infusing work with pleasure to build a strong and healthy workforce.
Well, NNPC supports sport because it wants a healthy workforce. Healthy workforce is one that can think faster and deliver faster. If you are healthy and you play well, you exercise well, then your brain is going to work as fast.
Also speaking at the event, Deputy Governor of Edo State, Right Honorable Phillips Tribal, thanked NNPC for hosting the event in Benin, which he described as the home of golf.
I want on behalf of Mr. Governor and the good people of Edo State to not only welcome you to Edo, but also to thank you for honoring Benin, the home of golf, with this tournament, and I'm excited that it has become an annual event.
On his part, former GMD of NNPC, Dr. Jackson Gales Obaseki, under whose tenure the golf tournament was instituted, commended Dr. Baru for sustaining some of the programs instituted by past management.
We say that NNPC touches your life in many positive ways, and it is real. I must also congratulate you because I heard you brought back the national quiz competition. All these were set up with deep thinking. I'm very happy that you came, you saw what is good, and you said, no, I must resurrect them.
Citing the NNPC Golf Tournament and the NNPC National Science Quiz Competition As some of the programs that have enjoyed the support of the Barrow-led management, Dr. Gaius Obaseki said the programs were well thought out and expressed gratitude to the GMD for seeing the good in them. The event attracted a lot of dignitaries and avid golfers from across the country.
Hello, it's a pleasure to have you join us on the feedback segment of the program. My name is Julia Auta. The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Dr. Mekanti Baru, recently marked 2 years in office. Today, our roving camera sought to find out from Nigerians on how he has fared as the helmsman of the National Oil Company.
Actually, the money is trying because we had a fuel. Any place that's okay, you have a fuel. Some people are selling 142, 143. So there's no scarcity of fuel.
The larger part of, let me say, this administration, getting availability of fuel has not been an issue. His performance so far, well, in terms of fuel availability, I would score him very high.
Despite the last previous scarcity in December, but we make effort that the fuel circulate everywhere. Right now, we are not having any queue again, no scarcity of fuel.
Make them continue trying as they try, but the only my point, according to as I said for the first time, to reduce the fuel price down, so that poor people can rise up.
Before, the fuel will be hard for us before we get the fuel. But now the thing become easier for us, and we are happiest for that.
His performance is okay based on availability of product. There is no scarcity, but if they can just reduce the price, that will be okay.
He has done very, very well, and I travel a lot, and there's no part of this country I don't go because of this my job, and there's no way we cannot find fuel, and he has done very, very well. I wish he will remain there forever.
Well, you've heard it all, and sure the GMD deserves a pat on his back for a job well done. And that's it on this segment. Please stay with us for the rest of the program.
NNPC, we touch your lives in many positive ways.
Hello and welcome to another extra informative segment of the program. My name is Abigail Ojobo. Did you know that the NNPC Retail was established in 2002? Did you know that the NNPC Retail now has a new logo? The new logo of the NNPC Retail is the visual cornerstone of the brand identity of the company. Did you also know that the new logo of the NNPC Retail is simple and communicates the essence of the company's business? Now you know. Please stay tuned for the rest of the program.
Hello and welcome to Global Crude Oil Outlook. Oil prices rose on Thursday, steadying after losses over the past 2 days from a surprise increase in U.S. crude inventories and renewed concerns over trade friction between the U.S. and China. Brent crude futures were up 16 cents or 0.2% at $72.55 per barrel after dropping 2.5% on Wednesday. U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI crude futures increased by 6 cents or 0.1% at $67.72 per barrel. They fell 1.6% in the previous session. Oil prices are being impacted by the ongoing tensions over global trade, with markets concerned about any slowdown in growth around the world. Brent prices fell more than 6% in June, and U.S. crude slumped about 7%, the biggest monthly declines for both benchmarks since July 2016. Tensions between the U.S. and Iran are also supporting the market. U.S. crude inventories rose 3.8 million barrels last week as imports jumped, the government's Energy Information Administration said. Gasoline stocks declined by 2.5 million barrels, while crude stocks at the Cushing, Oklahoma delivery hub for WTI futures fell 1.3 million barrels, EIA data showed. And that's it on this segment of the program. I am Solomon Yopave.
We say that NNPC touches your life in many positive ways, and it is real. I must also congratulate you because I heard you brought back the national quiz competition. All these were set up with deep thinking.
Well, that's how far we can take for this edition of Oil and Gas Forum. We hope you found it delightsome and informative, and a very august one at that. Enjoy your weekend.